Hey, everybody. Welcome to The Experience, live with Russ and Scott.
Welcome to The Experience, live with Russ and Scott.
Special thank you to our sponsors, the Gillette Home team of Keller Williams Midwell Laminate. For all your real estate needs, go to teamgillette.com. And thank you to our new sponsor, Joseph Gonzalez and In the Game Group. For more information, go to joseph@inthegamegroup.com. Ta-da! Here we are, live on The Experience, live with Russ and Scott, another Wednesday morning, here for your viewing and listening pleasure. Scott, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm great. You know, I was just, is the credits and everything we're playing, I was thinking about who the experience is for, because we have the most remarkable people every week on the show. But what it really came to mind was, who is the show not for? So people who are not lifelong learners probably shouldn't watch the show, because every guest we have teaches me something. And I know folks watching get that as well.
Oh, my goodness.
Today will be no different, by the way.
Right. And we have amazing friends and guests. And Tonya and Michael are going to be on soon. And we are so excited to have a chat with them, because I learn something every time we're on the show, too. And I am definitely a lifelong learner. I have a lot of learning to go. So I know that God's not done with me yet. We're moving that direction, learning every day. So, Scott, what do you have going on?
Oh, my gosh. Of course, at 9 a.m., it is the Aging Better Network. This is going to be an extended show, because it's kind of a reunion show. Christine got the idea from someone that she knows who does broadcasting. Oh, that's you, Russ Hedge.
Oh,
having the so it'll be a super edition. So that's going to be really fun, and just excited about that. And well, you know, new month. Boy, what are you gonna? It's hard to believe.
All kinds of great
years
stuff
just flying
going on.
by. You know, we couldn't wait for 2020 to get over, and here it is, 2023. I don't know what happened.
It is like a blur. Everything is moving so fast. And that is why you need to enjoy every day of your experience of life, because you know what? Hey, every moment is precious. You need to be present and just enjoy it, right, Scott? And I know you're that way. And that is why
absolutely.
I'm blessed to have you as my good friend and co-host of The Experience. Hey, I want to remind everybody that we're here every Wednesday, 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, for your viewing and listening pleasure. And also, we are on The Experience Backstage right before this on Instagram Live only. Ton of fun with our friend Shri. She is with us every week offering video tips. And Scott and I are just kind of getting ready for this show. So you may see us wandering, grabbing coffee. Who knows what we'll be doing, but we'll
Definitely
be there
backstage.
for sure. Definitely backstage and having fun. So no, it is such a good time. You know, and Shri is such a blessing to us. Not only does she make us look good, but also offers a lot of value in that short amount of time. So if you haven't seen that, it's only on Instagram Live. Here on The Experience, we broadcast on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube every week. Come rain or come shine or come snow, we are here on The Experience. So yes, having fun. I think we should get the guests in and get this thing started.
Well, and this is great because you don't have to decide who to bring in first because they're sharing a box.
I know. So I'm going to tell them we always go ladies first. So Michael, let Tonya speak. So let's bring them in. Here we go. Woo! Good morning.
I live by the same rule. Ladies first. I just tell everybody the secret to my success is listening to her. I just do what she tells me.
And I let him talk.
You are a smart man. Smart man. I have been married over 35 years, and I learned a long time ago that my wife knows what's going on. If I just listen to her and follow her, all will be good. I mean, because she's always right anyway. So that's good. It just moves in the right direction. So there you go. Anyway, hey, listen, it is so great to have you both here. We want you to just each introduce yourself, give us a little intro of what you're up to and the amazing things you're doing, and we'll go from there.
All right. Hey, I'll start since it's ladies first. I'm Tonya Eberhart. I'm the founder of BrandFace. And I'll just make it super short, but my journey began years ago when I was selling vacuum cleaners door to door. If you can imagine that. I've heard more no's than probably anybody listening to this right now. And from that, that was the very beginnings of my personal branding journey. And then I moved into the media world and it upped the ante, right? The no's got louder and behind every door was more money, but those doors slammed in my face too. So I learned really quickly that if I wanted to change how I was seen, I had to change the way that I presented myself. And that, in a very long story short, is how we ended up here with BrandFace today. So that's kind of what we're up to. We do personal branding for coaches, consultants, creators who are looking to be the face of their company, who are quite often involved in a whole lot of different projects that they can't seem to wrap their arms around, and need to make sure that they're presenting that best and face to the world with great clarity and purpose.
Yeah, I love this. You talk about presenting yourself. So former NBA player Walter Bond wrote a book called All Butts Stink. That's a B-U-T-S. That's one T, All Butts Stink. But in it, and I actually got to hear him speak one time. He was saying, you have to pass the eyeball test. And, there's a lot that goes into that. So he came and he was speaking to a bunch of professionals, and he knew that everyone there would probably be wearing a suit. So he wore a suit, but his was just like one step up, and he had the pocket square and these types of things that just elevated, right? And he's like, yeah, I beat you with a hanky. That's the eyeball test.
I love it.
Sometimes it's the little touches, the little extras.
It is. My grandfather said, listen, whatever you do, if you dig a hole, you get a shovel full and a little on the handle. That's what the difference is. That's where the difference is.
Well,
go deep.
And I have found, and you two can comment on this, I found that it's really important to be really authentically who you are, create that brand around who you really are. And when I first started live streaming, I put on a collared shirt and I dressed up, and then I thought, you know what, I'm a hoodie guy and I own my own business, so I'm wearing my hoodie. In fact, the other day my wife said, you're meeting CEOs and you're meeting all these big people in these companies, don't you think you should wear something other than a hoodie? And I'm like, they're going to either like me in the hoodie or they're not. And so far, no one has kicked me out with a hoodie on. But my whole point there is, we got to be us, right? You got to build that. You got to make that little difference maker in your brand is you and your personality, right?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely it is.
That is the key factor right there. And we argue that it's personal branding no matter what. People don't do business with a logo. They do business with a person, even B2B. You're still trusting that somebody on the other end of that transaction can deliver what they say they can deliver. So,
and I have to say, we still have to hear from Michael. We got to get your intro.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, one of the things I was going to say before I gave my intro was about Tonya, because, I've always been impressed the fact that she was selling vacuum cleaners door to door. I can imagine this. I didn't know her back then, unfortunately, but this 18, 19-year-old beautiful lady, knocking on doors, hauling this equipment and stuff. But it really summed it up the other day. We've known each other 11 years now, and she was on a podcast thing, and she goes, it's not like anybody gets up in the morning and says, I hope somebody sells me a vacuum cleaner today. So she's like, it's a hard thing to do, because now not only are you convincing them to let me in the house, I'm going to sell you this very expensive piece of equipment that you did not get up this morning wanting to buy. It's not like going shopping for a car or something. So I was already impressed. Now I'm even more so. But no, my career, very short, was I am an auctioneer by trade, and a serial entrepreneur. I worked for a company for about 3 months out of high school and realized I did not want to be an engineer. I wanted to be an auctioneer. My mother cried. How are you going to feed yourself? I said, trust me, it'll work out. The first year, I think I made $6,000. I thought many times during that time she was wrong. And she was right. I was wrong. I was going to starve to death. But my mentor told me to get my real estate license, make a little extra money. I got that. Then I opened up a firm. I still didn't really use it for anything other than the autonomy of being able to call a real estate sale in the southeast of United States anytime I wanted to. But then the mortgage debacle hit. And when that hit, I teamed up with a company out of Irvine, California. We put together a company and a proposal to go after the Bear Stearns real estate portfolio, the residential portfolio. When they went under, we got it. We thought it'd be 3 years worth of work, ended up being 7 years worth of work. Came back to my small hometown because good auctioneers are always working themselves out of a job. And I was still young, said, I wonder what I'm going to do. Opened up a brokerage and needed big time help with my marketing. And then I met this beautiful lady right here, and she changed everything.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, it's just that one person, just like you said, that can make a difference. And speaking of that one person, that's what branding really is all about. I have found that, the difference in a business, people say, I don't know what differentiates me from my competitors. And I say to them, well, I have an easy one for you. It's you. You are what differentiates you from and just like you said, people didn't wake up in the morning for Tonya to knock on their door, sell them a vacuum cleaner. But when she smiled and when that personality came out, there you go. And they're thinking, I want 3 vacuum cleaners, please.
I wish it worked that way. But to your point, a great brand makes people feel like they're happy to buy from you, right? And it's like Jeffrey Gitomer always said, you don't want to sell people, you want to create people. You want to create a feeling where they want to buy from you. That's a very bad paraphrase, but the sentiment I think you get, nonetheless. But it is true, you make people feel like, man, I'm really glad you stepped in today. And this is something I didn't realize I even needed, right? And I think that's when you really know you've got that message and the way you're presenting yourself, really super dialed in.
Yeah.
Well, one thing that I think is interesting, I'm guessing, Tonya, I've never sold vacuum cleaners door to door, thank God. But I'm thinking that when you walked in that door, you didn't immediately thrust the vacuum at them and tell them how much it costs and will they buy. Now, just FYI for those people on LinkedIn that are watching, when you say, I want to connect, the next thing you know, they thrust the vacuum in front of you with the 5-page sales pitch. Not a good way to go about it. Building rapport and that personality that really brands you as a person who cares and then is actually building some actual know, like, and trust factor. And you had a short amount of time selling vacuums, but people need to build that personal rapport and that connection before they go off selling people, right?
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you led into this story, because would you like to know exactly how I got in the door? Because I will share that with you guys. Okay. So I realized very quickly that okay, well, me just looking tired and wanting people to feel sorry for me didn't work, right? So I thought I'm just going to lug this thing up here and hopefully they'll let me in, because they feel really bad that I'm going to have to lug it back to my car. Well, that didn't work. So I thought, how am I going to connect with this person? And you've always heard that people really want to do nice things for you. They want to help people, right? So it's like, okay, let's be honest about this. I walked up and I said, hey, my name's Tonya. I'm going to Florida State University right now. I'm going through the communications degree there right now. And I'm doing this on the side to help pay my way through college. And, even if you don't buy anything from me, it still helps me with school. Now, it didn't help me with credits. I wasn't going to get school credits. But the truth of the matter is, I knew if I got in the door and I sold them something, it would help me, right? So it was a little bit of a marketing twist. You know what they say about us marketing people? We're always like spinning something, right? But it was a truthful spin. It does help me. It helps me become more confident. It helps me get closer to the sale. And so it was like magic, right? Those doors just like, yeah, of course, honey, come on in, right? I'll be glad to help you. So it went from, I'm going to sell you something. Won't you let me in because I'm tired today and this thing's heavy, to, hey, here's my story. Can you help me out? And that was huge for people. Of course, I was younger back then. Now, that did not translate at all when I got to the media world. The minute I got there, the doors slammed harder in my face, and these prospects were a lot harsher, because if you're coming to their door to ask for anywhere from $5,000 to $50,000 a month in advertising, then you better know your stuff. So I realized, holy cow, like I've got to figure this out. Well, I'd always been a person who, like you said earlier, loves to learn, right? I just loved it. And I wanted to be the very best radio sales rep that I could be. So I learned my craft really, really quickly. But one thing I did learn is, first thing you got to know is it's all about them. So I would go to the newspaper, or I would go to their, see a television commercial or another radio commercial. And I would say, hey, I would call them up and say, hey, I've got an idea for you. Well, now sometimes I didn't, but by golly, I did by the time I got to the door. And I said, look, I heard your commercial. I saw your commercial here. I've written a new radio commercial that I want to present to you. Can I come in and talk to you about this strategy, right? And almost every single time I got in the door, because I was proving that I was bringing something of value to the door. And it wasn't just tickets to the ball game or, taking them to lunch. They can have that all day long. That wasn't what I wanted to be known for. I wanted to be known for helping them grow their business through what I had to offer and the expertise that I could extend. And that's actually the story of exactly how I got in the door at both places.
That's such a great story, great example, because you came in and instead of going, our radio station has 50,000 watts and we've got a market of 75,000 people.
Yeah.
And you just is like, you actually came in and talked about them, which is so cool. And you start building that relationship. I think about the movie Glengarry Glen Ross? And, there's some famous lines in there, right? Coffee's for closers.
Yeah.
Yeah. We want the leads, the good leads. Yeah.
I just had the leads.
True.
Right, sitting in the restaurant, just building a relationship with the guy, not talking about all these great things. It's just, and the guy, of course, Al Pacino, he's going to be oozing magnetism, right? But the guy he's like, please, can I buy from you? Really? I mean, that's kind of the way it works out.
It is. It sure is.
Michael, keep going.
Well, I was going to say it reminded me of the guy that taught me. I was in the fence business for a little while, and I had my own little crew I was running. And but the guy that taught me, he said, "Man," he said, I sell more fences than anybody because I never talk about. They literally talk about everything until they're like, "Okay, how much is my fence going to cost?" He said, "I talk about anything but the fence. Like it doesn't until they finally ask me." And he said, "My closing ratio is like 80%," and it's so true, because it's and that ties to the personal branding aspect, is what I loved about what Tonya taught me about it. People don't do business with the logo. They do business with you, and that rapport that you build with them is literally everything. And and we live in such a glorious day where we can show that personality and who we are and our expertise along on like podcasts, just like we're on right here today, and in every other way, our social media, our websites, every one of those platforms that we show up on. And what Tonya and I teach people is that it's usually where you're going wrong when building your business, is leaving that personality out of it. And to your point, Scott, I've sold X amount of this, or I've got X amount of awards, or stuff. All those things are very, very, very important. But what they show is expertise. They don't show personality. And what you need to show is personality, and then lean on the expertise. Like, thank you for contacting me. Thank you for working with us or giving us a chance to share with you. This expertise is going to be good for you.
Because we know decisions are made based off emotions. So they're gonna make a decision either to build that fence or not, based on it's an emotional decision. Then later they're going to go back and justify it. They're going to rationalize that. And they're going to go, yeah, well, this company has been, the Chamber of Commerce said they were the #1 and they won these fencing awards and they got all this stuff from vendors and stuff. That just justifies.
Yes,
absolutely. It's icing on the cake.
Yeah. Well, you never get to that point either until you actually get in the door, show them who you are, and get them connected to you. No matter how much time you have, I can guarantee you, Tonya, the reason everybody was open the doors is because your big smile and your nice, wonderful personality. And they're thinking, I want to help this gal out. Let's let her in the door. I mean, that makes all the difference. Then at the backside, like Scott says, the expertise and the knowledge really pays off. But, though I love the John Maxwell quote, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. The approach you both are talking about. Yeah. I mean, what you're talking about is caring about whether, Tonya, it's you showing up with a new idea. You're caring about the person. You are not saying, look how great I am and all the things I can do. Look what I can do for you. I care about what you're all about. And then they're thinking, okay, well, yeah, I want to listen to this person. And I can tell you from personal experience, when I deal with people, somebody that comes to my door and has a great personality and is excited and asking me questions and engaging me in conversation, I'm going to talk to them for a little bit. Somebody who comes immediately starts selling me, I tell them, hey, let me stop you. Thanks so much. I'm not interested today. Have a great day. It makes all the difference the way you approach people. And I just think that is critical. Tonya, go ahead.
Definitely critical.
Yeah, it is. And I take it back to the conversation you and I had, a 3 weeks back, Russ, like where we got to know each other before you guys invited us here to be on your show, which I appreciated very much. And I got to know you as a person, and it was such an awesome conversation. It was like disappointing when we had to leave the conversation. And that was really neat to see, right? And the same with Scott. So I love that. It's getting to know people on that personal level where they feel very comfortable with you. And when somebody feels comfortable with you, they tend to trust more, right? But that should come very quickly, but you do have to think about how you present yourself in doing so. Think about it this way. 98% of people will meet your brand before they meet you. Mm-hmm. That's really, really important. So in this day and age, think about how many people you have been on a Zoom call with, right? Or how many people you've actually seen in person today. Maybe 2, 3, 4. Think about how many people have seen your past videos, seen your social media platforms, gone to your website, received an email from you. The list goes on and on and on. They're being exposed to your brand way before they're even exposed to you in person. Mm-hmm. And so the ability to craft the way that you want people to view you is really important. We deal with a lot of other, branding people, throughout the world. And one of my pet peeves is when they say, oh, your customer is going to decide what your brand is. They'll decide. It's like,
Wow.
no, hold on just a minute. That's a huge pet peeve for me, because it's whether or not they're going to do business with you, but it's your responsibility to influence how they view you before they even meet you. And if you haven't done that, then your customer is going to decide your brand,
Yeah.
right? But that is not the norm. That's not the way it should be.
So how do we, how do you work with customers? And let's talk about who they are. Solo entrepreneurs, small businesses, large firms. How do you work with these different businesses to either correct or create a brand?
That's a good question. We first off, we do a very deep dive with our clients. Even our clients on a done for you, or our clients in the masterminds, we do a deep dive. We look at 77 different criteria when we build a brand, because it is that detailed, and it needs to be that detailed. It's so much more. We tell people it's so much more than just a photo and a tagline or slogan, a logo. Like, those are just branding elements. We've got to get a lot deeper to that, because if that's all you have, that's what everybody else has. We've got to get down to the why. Why did you get into what you do? Why? What is your driving factor? And then, of course, your experience level is going to be very important. Your core values, all of those things that everybody talks about. And then we've got to get you forward facing. When I worked with Tonya, I didn't want that. I thought I was hiring a marketer. I'm like, look, okay, I'm going to open up this business. I've already got my logo. I don't need anything else. And so I don't know what you're going to do, but help me with this marketing or whatnot. And then I'm going fishing. And she's like, no, you're going to be the face of the business. I'm like, what? I'm going to be the face of the business. I'm trying to escape. Like, I want away. Like, this is not what I want. She's like, yeah, that's what you want.
But his name was on the door.
But my name was on the door. She's like, if your name is on the door, you have got to be the guy they see. And she said, I'm going to tell you something else. You better be authentic. She said, I don't want to see you in the newspaper on some scandal. I don't want to see you, like shooting birds at people in the church parking lot. Like, I don't want you. I better not see any of this stuff. No pitching fits at restaurants or waitresses. That she says, I'm going to build this brand out, and you're going to live this, who you really are, like that. Yeah. And I'm like, all right.
Not that he did any of those terrible things before.
But she put the square on me like that real quick.
We just want to make sure,
she laid the rules down. Like, this is the way we're going to play. And but obviously she was correct. Especially being in the real estate business in a small town. And I recognized that when I went to the post office and I was just buying some stamps. And this lady said, are you the Michael Carr? And I was like, I've never been the anything. But the when she said it, I recognized that she recognized my brand. And then in my face that went along with it, and she knew that I was in the real estate business, and then I was like, maybe she knows what she's talking about, and we just continued to grow it from there. When we work with those clients, the first thing we do is we make sure that they are ready to be the front and the face of their business. And we don't know of an industry really and truly where a person can't be the face of their business, even in B2B. But definitely, if you're in a service industry business of any kind, and being in real estate business, I'm not a real estate agent. I'm a real estate broker, and I'm not a competing broker. So I have agents with me. They are also branded, and they're not in competition with each other. They work seamlessly together. And I know that my agents are the ones now that are dealing with each one of those clients on the street level, and they need to be recognized also to be an authority in their industry, their business, their book of business is what I call it. So that's the first thing we do. We got to get you out front and make sure that everybody knows your why.
Mm-hmm. And then we have a super simple, quick process. If you want me to.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So you asked me, like, what do we do with people, right? Mm-hmm. So we go through a super simple process. We call it the 3 Ds: define, develop, and display. And we define who their ideal customers are, what their point of differentiation is, what they want to be known for. In the develop stage, we develop all the parts and pieces that most people think of as a brand, but they're really just branding elements like logos, colors, brand messaging, the most important thing. How do you articulate through language what sets you apart? Who do you serve? How do you serve them? what makes you qualified to serve them? How does it make their life better? All of those things, right? So we pull all of those elements together, photos, all of those kind of things. And then in the third phase, which is display, we make sure those are displayed correctly and consistently, literally everywhere. So there's consistency across the board, and no question about people seeing the 98% of people who see your brand before they meet you.
Mm-hmm. So important. I love it.
Well, I was thinking all the way back to, and I have to be the responsible host because we're drawing to a close here, but I wanted to say, I was thinking back to when you were talking about people saying other people determine your brand. It's kind of like parents saying, I'm going to let my kids figure it out. And, whatever goes on. And I'm thinking, other people are going to determine their brand and what they're all about and what their beliefs are. And if you want to have any say in that, that's not a good approach. Being intentional, like you two are with the branding, being thoughtful about what you're doing and driving that process is so critical. And also one thing I think you and I talked about, Tonya, before, and that is that why and that purpose is so important. It is at the foundation of everything you're doing. If you have no idea why you're in business, which I might add that a lot of people have no idea why they're in business, then you have trouble right off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I deal with the customers on that all the time. I mean, come on, figure out why you're actually doing this. Well, it pays the bills. Well, you maybe should think about something else and a new career time, because if you're just in it to pay the bills, you're not going to be passionate about it. And you're in your own business. You're barking up the wrong tree at this point because you're not even into it, And I think that branding, when you're talking about personal branding, because you set yourself apart because of who you are, if you don't care about what you're doing and you have no passion for what you're doing, everybody's going to see that. And they're going to be the person, they're going to be like the person that walks up to the door, the vacuum salesperson that looks at me and goes, hey, I'm selling vacuums. Do you want to see one? And I'm like, yeah, no, thanks. Or Tonya once ever goes, hey, how's it going? Are you having a great day? I'm just having to lug this thing around. You want me to come into your house? Just the personality alone. It doesn't matter what you say. Just the approach and the personality alone makes me want to think, I'm going to give this person a shot, And so those things are so, so important. And, I really appreciate what you're both about. I'm going to give you a chance to have the last word here, but we are.
But I'll say one thing here.
Go ahead,
because
Scott.
as we were talking about this branding, and you can tell us how you came up with the name BrandFace, but it was Tom Peters, who wrote a number of books, including In Search of Excellence and Thriving on Chaos. He had visited the Harley Davidson factory, and he walked out and he said, I used to think that Harley Davidson sold motorcycles, but what they really sell is the opportunity for a 35-year-old accountant to put on his leather jacket and ride his motorcycle through a small town and have people be afraid of him.
I love it.
It's genius. It really is genius, So for my, statement here, I'd like to kind of take it right back to you guys, right? Like the brand is truly all about the experience, guys. It really is. It's about creating what you want people to know and feel about you. You have the ability to do that. It's the greatest thing in the world. Like you can craft exactly how you want people to see you. And that's how why we say change how you're seen and charge what you're worth, right? That's what building a profitable personal brand is all about, which we didn't get into a lot here today, but the things we did get into are far more important. So that's what I want to leave with. It's about the experience. Put it out there, influence it, and then live it.
And the only thing I'll add to that is be bold.
Later.
Thank you. No, not necessary.
And the only thing I would add to it is be bold about it. Like this is no place for the shy.
And how did you create the name?
Actually, I'll tell you a real quick funny story about it. It just came to me one day. I thought, I just help people who want to be the face of their brand. And I was trying to come up with a name for the book. And it's like, BrandFace. Okay. So I walk out of my office, I was in a different city, totally different situation, walk out of my office, and two people who are super, super smart in the marketing world, absolute geniuses. I said to them, both were gentlemen, right? And I said, what do you think about the name BrandFace for the book and also for the company? And one of them went, what do you think about this? And the other one went, I'm not really sure. And at that moment, I knew exactly what it was going to be. It was like explosion went off in my brain and fireworks came out my ears. It's like BrandFace, this is it. So immediately I set out to trademark it. And that is how it came about. It's just a super simple way of coming about, but the lioness in me came out when somebody said, no, your baby is ugly. Right.
I love
and I
it.
thought, nope, that is exactly what it is. It stands out everywhere. It's unique. But more than anything, it says what it is. So
that's when someone, Michael, tells you or tells their friend, yeah, don't buy that house, and immediately comes and makes an offer.
Exactly.
Yeah. you know that happens.
She knew immediately when they said, nope, I don't like it. Okay, good. I nailed it.
That is so awesome. Well, hey, how does everybody get in touch with you too?
So brandfacestar.com is where you find out about us. And you can actually pick up our ultimate guide to a profitable personal brand there too at brandfaceguide.com. So that'll go into a lot more detail about personal branding than we went through here today.
And I'll say, make sure when you go there, sign up for your on your email list, because you guys send out a ton of really helpful information.
Thank you.
Good. Thank you very much.
We appreciate that.
Well, all of this information about the two of you will be in the show notes, and it's showing up in the comments. And so we appreciate you both so much. But we want to tell everybody watching today, all the information there is clickable. You can go directly to them. You can get more information. You can find out more in depth. Let them take a deep dive into your business and help you with your brand. And we just want to support you too. And thank you so much for taking time to be on today, because this has been awesome. And we're going to have to keep this conversation going.
We would love that. Thank y'all so much for having us.
Honored to be here. Thank you, gentlemen.
So great to see you guys.
We're going to send you out to the green room real quick. Hang tight, and we're going to wrap things up.
Wow. Gentlemen, I like that. I like that. She is
That's
Tonya's
right.
using the very broad definition of gentleman. So I like that.
Well, you know what? They're just nice people. There you go. That's what it's all about. So, I appreciate them both so much. Tonya and I had an amazing conversation, and this has been my first opportunity to speak with Michael, but it's just great. I can just feel within them the passion, and it makes me want to work with them right away. So that's amazing.
Yeah,
but
I was on their podcast, and man, what a great conversation. Great folks. I knew they had to be on the experience. And here we are.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Well, when you tell me, Scott, that somebody's amazing, I listen, because I tell you, we are just blessed with amazing people. Hey, I just want to remind everybody, we're here every Wednesday, 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for your viewing and listening pleasure. And we are also on the Experience Backstage, 6:30 a.m. on Instagram only before the show. So we would love for you to join us every week. And also, we would love for you to share this video. If you've been watching today, you're gaining value from this, and I know you are, please share this out. Whether you're watching live or on replay, it doesn't matter. You can still share it. It sits there forever. So share this with your friends. Also, want to remind you that we would love to have you join our YouTube community. Go to theexperience.video and subscribe today and become part of our YouTube community, because we would love to have you as part of that. And I'm just thankful for you, Scott. Thanks so much for all that you do. And what do you got going on? Anything special we should know about before we close this up today?
Russ, I'm looking forward. We're going to get together for coffee. I know, because last time we got together, we were able to get a good selfie, which is now part of the intro and the promo stuff. And we got to.
You always know you're going to get a good selfie.
Looking forward to hanging out with you.
Yes.
And hey, that was a great plug. I love it about the experience. So thank you, Tonya. And Michael, I know would tell us about real estate. It's location in video, and in these live streaming videos, as Russ put up, it's share.
Absolutely. And Scott, for sure on the coffee. And you always know with me, you're going to get a hashtag Russ selfie, because that's what I'm all about. and love hanging out with you because we do so much video. We see each other like 10 times as much here on video as we do in person. So we will definitely do that.
Indeed. We'll see you soon.
Okay. Well, listen, I think that I'm going to wrap it up for the day. I appreciate everybody being here. Don't forget, we'll see you next Wednesday, 7 a.m. Pacific time. And until then, have a great day and a great life and
enjoy the experience.
Thanks for tuning in to The Experience live with Russ and Scott. If you enjoyed today's show, please share it with others, post about it on social media, or subscribe on YouTube. See you next time.